Good, Les Concola. I'm really disappointed with the Minister because I defer to Deputy Howland, who's long service in this House and was a Minister and a number of governments and was in that seat making legislation and putting through legislation and dealing with the Táchtaí Dáil, who wanted amendments and whatever. So he did right. We're down here to two words. And I also heard that representative of I can't think what rank or what organisation it was on Sunday, and she questioned, like, the uncertainty and the not clear guidelines for the Gardaí to operate at present under this COVID. And we all support and salute and compliment the Gardaí, and I want to compliment them in Tipperary and elsewhere that I've engaged with. They've been great, and it's been a great revisiting of the community spirit, community alert and support for the Gardaí. It's been great for all the bad things about COVID. That's been good, and that gives an element of hope as well for the future of the Gardaí. But they're putting them in an invidious situation. She said that also, and I also heard her say that some of the penal provisions, they were civil matters. That they couldn't be. That's my understanding. What I heard her say, that they weren't. The Gardaí had no powers to direct or to do anything with them. They were civil matters. I understand a civil matter is something between you, Lescan Corner, and me, and we're taking it on our own case and civil matter. So there's utter confusion. And I can't understand the obstinance of the Minister here today, no disrespect to her personally, that won't take out these two words at the request of people who've supported the legislation. I haven't supported the legislation, I won't support the legislation, but Deputy Howland and his party have, with reservations, as he has said. I listened to his second day speech yesterday as well. As I said, I acknowledge his experience, and he knows, and I know. We're playing with words here and semantics, but people's lives, families, generational families of self-employed business, who never ask the state for a penny, who comply with the Licensing Act every year and get their licence renewed because of the way they run their business, and who give employment, who pay rates, who pay tax, who pay wages and who pay insurance, and support everything that goes on in the community. And in many communities now, it's the last bastion that we have is the pub, because everything is gone. Everything else is gone. And for a funeral, our tragedies, our celebration, christening, little parties, they have them in the public house, and they make their place available, warm and comfort surroundings, in safe and managed environment, which you have to do with the licence, but they want to do it anyway. And we're creating this big sledgehammer here to crack a nut. And see, if you had linked, Minister...
Deputy, just gently, just to the amendment.
Yes, if you had linked...
Please.
I'm aghast that you won't remove the amendment. That's what I'm saying, I won't accept it. If you had brought legislation, as many government backbenchers are here talking about supporting the pub, yet they're voting against them. There is no roadmap, and there is no legislation to allow the pubs open, or no green light. I spoke at the meeting on Monday with Nefford, with Deputy Howden, I think it was that, and the Taoiseach, and we've got no idea when they might open. We're told it could be next March. So, I mean, this is the problem. They're dangling a string here in front of the publicans, but as well as that, they're tying two hands behind their back and blindfolding one eye as well, and it's just silly. And this is semantics in the extreme here, that you won't, with your officials and the drafters, explain, we have no concept of the range of or otherwise. We can't get clarifying that, and I'm only a lay person, I'm not a barrister, a solicitor, so or otherwise could mean anything. You can't tell us it couldn't, because it could. Or otherwise could mean anything. I mean, you can tell me to sit down and I will, but or otherwise, or other words, but I will. But I mean, I think it's very pedantic and it's childish, not to the Minister personally, but it's semantics. And I did hear that, I think O'Sullivan lady from the Garda Síochána, they haven't the clarity and they don't know. They're coming back one step forward and two steps back, and they need to be clear. And sending him in, and I'm finishing this, sending Gardaí in to inspect the pubs that had given this €9 meal, which incidentally Nefford told me last week, they never dreamed up this idea of the €9 meal. And watching on plates, I got an email this morning where two Gardaí visited the premise, looking at the plates of people to value whether the pork chop or whether it's a burger or whether the pizza is valued €9. I wouldn't know. I know after eating it what it's worth. I might think how it's worth, but Gardaí are not qualified to know what's on a plate, whether it's worth €9 or $6.50 or $4.50. It's ridiculous and it's childish. And we did rush it through first, and we all supported it. But now we have time for cool reflection, and the management have saying, and it's not fair and it's not equitable, and there's no limits to or otherwise. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy.
Sorry, just to make clear in that regard, when we refer to or otherwise, it's only in relation to 31A7 of the Act of 1947, the Health Act. So the penal provisions are there, they have been signed into law, they're on the Department of Health, they're very clear for people to see. So the or otherwise can't refer to anything outside of those specific penal provisions that have been approved, that have come before the House of the Dáil. that are now on the Department of Health website for people to see. So it's very clear, it doesn't refer to anything else. But again, I suppose just to appeal to Deputy Howland in relation to when he talks about the direction, yes, the direction as outlined in Section 1 is for the implementation of this particular legislation, but there is already a provision under the Health Act which allows for entry of the Gardaí where they see that the penal provision under this particular section has been breached, and it's merely outlining that, and it's merely saying that it's either a penal provision as related to this legislation or other. That's already there, and it's simply pointing out by saying the word or otherwise, it's simply pointing out that that's already there and that Gardaí know that they can enter that premises.
Thank you, Minister.